I just think that our world is great. I think there's a lot of good stuff going on. I think that our ability as people to problem solve and to fix things and um, things that look broken and we can fix those. Like I think that's just like one of the coolest things that people do. And I like
Yeah,
being a part of that.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
oh, go ahead, John.
Well, I would say like that stemming, if you're watching or listening, Cameron and his wife Erin were foster parents for how many years was that? Like,
We fostered for 5 years.
so if you're thinking, oh, they're these young guys talking on these podcasts about how the world's so great. Well, Cameron does see things, in a very optimistic way in really tough situations. So it's a if you want somebody on your team that's like that, you want someone who uses, like, nobody wants to call the roofing company. They'd rather buy the boat. They'd rather go on the vacation. But you can take a potentially bad situation and you can turn it into a good thing. Hey, we're giving you peace of mind with what we do. And that's a really good quality that Cameron has. And also the creativity side of things too is really important. And I think from the Proline perspective, our Proline team has gotten to know Cameron's creativity and like how important it is to bring humor and like creativity into all business. Like it's a people business, but you have to attract people with creativity and like unique ideas. And that's one thing that I think that Cameron has a lot of strength in that I don't. I know most people don't. So I appreciate that. I just want people to know that like uh, that the experience that Cameron's had is very unique uh, from that perspective, and having a positive outlook is still, seeing having tough situations and still having a positive outlook is a lot of what roofing is. It's like, this is tough. Your roof is leaking. These kids need fostering, but we're going to make the best of it and have an opportunity to make this a positive experience. So it ties
Yeah.
in together.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but even a lot of the focus that my wife and I had in fostering was we just like worked with the parents a lot. So we cared about what was best for the children first, but I think it is helpful to have met with people, sat with people, and come alongside them at like some of the toughest parts of their life. And it does help to know. I mean, talking with a customer yesterday and he's saying, I know I got to get my contract signed, but it is helpful to know like, okay, he's got a lot of stuff going on with his parents and there's ways that I can show him empathy and not be just like I can still try to help get his roof taken care of because he does need his roof taken care of. He does need to sign the contract if I'm going to get the roof taken care of, but also like I can come at this with empathy and a lot of the stuff that I experienced as a foster parent working with people who'd lost their kids and were trying to get them back. I think it's definitely helped kind of give me the ability to just come alongside people in what is a tough part of life and have empathy, but also say like, because that's one thing with foster parenting is it's like, hey, this sucks, but also like we got to get something done. And sometimes that's the way it is with roofing too, is it's like, hey, I know we don't want to do this right now, but I promise you the relief you're going to feel when you're not wondering if your roof is leaking, when that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any bigger, like we got to get something done here. Uh, I think I think is really a cool part of the roofing industry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. Very good perspective.
Yeah. I really like that perspective of that, making that impact on like a person by person basis. I think it's really tempting. There's a lot of people that want to make an impact on the world, right? Most people, unless they're very cynical, they want to make a positive impact on the world in some way. And I feel like a lot of people get drawn into, well, the only way for me to make an impact is I got to get involved with some big political like movement, or I got to be, they want to be part of something really, really big in order to quote unquote make an impact. when in reality, it's like you can make a really substantial impact just one person at a time in a community. And I like that perspective that you have. It's like, you're able to affect that change and make someone's day. And it's like, you don't even know, it's like the butterfly effect. You don't know who else that person's going to interact with over the next 24 hours or even multiple days that now is positively impacted by you. And is going to then, like, you could have inadvertently it positively impacted hundreds of people just by one positive interaction.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, like you said, you never know like every single person, every interaction turns into like a system of interactions. And then as you kind of like piece stuff together, you end up making something that's better, because anybody could go just do 1 or 2 sales, work with somebody, do 1 or 2 roofs, but then to kind of apply that to like a roofing company, it's really cool to kind of see that happen when you focus on that like day to day, that person to person, but then you get those moments where, 3, 4, 5 years later, you get to work with a customer. Like I just went to a customer's house and her roof was leaking. A branch had fallen in onto her roof. It was someone that I worked with, I think in 2018, maybe 2019. And she was so excited for me to come back. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I was afraid you guys were gonna go out of business, but like I'm so happy to see you again. And I remembered her and she remembered me and all that kind of stuff. Like those are those cool moments. You're like, okay, now I get to see the bigger point of view. Or when we look at all the 5-star reviews that we get, and you get to kind of see every once in a while, you get those moments where you get to see that bigger picture and you're like, you know what, like this is really cool that every one of those little things adds up, and makes something bigger.
Oh yeah, 100%. What do you think? I kind of have a lot of roofing business owners listen to this podcast, and many of them are looking to hire talented, passionate reps that have your mindset. And my impression is that most people are very much leading with the money. They're kind of like, hey, like this is how much money you can make in roofing, and that's where all like how they're trying to hire people. It's just, you can make all this money if you do this. But I almost feel like for you, I mean, obviously the money's important, right? But I feel like for you, there's that meaning in what you found, this meaning in what you're doing in roofing. Do you think that like what do you think the most impactful message that a roofing business owner is looking to hire a rep can say to a potential rep, someone that's interested in getting into roofing? Do you feel like the just leading with the money is the right approach,